Good evening and happy Black History Month. My name is Sydney Testman, and I'm a junior at South Cobb High School. Recently, a few of my classmates and I had the opportunity to meet with leaders of the Wheeler Name Change group. My initial feelings were of anger and disgust. Those feelings shifted to disappointment when I further understood this Board of Education has chosen to dissolve a school renaming committee before it even convened for the first meeting. Names carry a lot of meaning. They are often interlocked with a person or place's identity, something that represents them and something they are proud to be called. Whether or not Joseph Wheeler was a good or bad person is debatable based on perspective and frankly not what I have come here to talk about. The question I place on the table is, does this name currently represent our culture and community today? The answer is no. Joseph Wheeler fought to maintain his Southern Confederate way of life and keep my ancestors enslaved. It speaks volumes about the moral basis of a district that dissolves a committee like this one after students have brought to their attention this issue. Do you want to continue to have schools named in recognition of any person that supported the highest levels of white supremacy, systemic racism, and the brutal violence of slavery? Right now, America, mostly in the South, is taking a critical look at the symbols that give honor to the Confederacy. Joseph Wheeler High School is known to be the last remaining one in the Marietta area. The Wheeler name change effort is more than symbolism. It's about starting a conversation about the values and beliefs of Cobb County School District and the community it serves today.
30 seconds.
It's about acknowledging and dealing with injustices of the past. I'm ashamed that in 2021, there is even a need to still debate this issue. I may not be a Wheeler student, but I'm a part of the Cobb community. I'm asking that you reinstate the name change committee and then proceed to engage with our community on renaming Wheeler and any other schools that bear symbols of the Confederacy and racism. You have the power and position to reconcile this injustice. What legacy will you leave upon the Cobb community if you do not address this matter now? Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I am here to talk about the safety and humanity of our students, educators, families, and the wider community. This board was elected by the voters of Cobb County to work in the best interests of all stakeholders, including taxpayers, parents, teachers, and especially students. Unfortunately, this school board has had a propensity to address the needs of some stakeholders while leaving others completely ignored. Some of those of you at home waiting to have your concerns addressed by this board, you must first understand how this board operates. Behind closed doors, at least 4 of the 7 board members must agree to add your concern to an agenda just to have it heard. If at least 4 board members do not agree, your concerns go unaddressed like it never existed. So concerns like addressing the name change requested by students at Wheeler High School go unheard, even though it is public knowledge that the school is named in honor of a Confederate soldier. I would think this board could see how the optics of that fact could make the board look insensitive to its minority students, which make up 65% of the school population. I think the taxpayers of Cobb County can endure at least a discussion on the topic.
Good evening. In my efforts to enact change, I have learned and experienced firsthand the ways in which adults and those in positions of authority choose to utilize their power. Therefore, I felt it best that the community be aware of how the Cobb County Board of Education treats its students. Please note that this behavior is not only unsatisfactory, but in direct violation of the Board Code of Ethics. Based on my experience in violation of these ethics under Board and Community Relations Bullet 1, members of this board do not seek regular and systemic communications with their students. They do not provide consistent or in-depth feedback, nor do they respond to emails, despite claiming to see the importance in issues that are evidently important to their students. At this point, we have 12 emails that have been ignored, meaning they have produced no response by members of this board. Let it be clear that in the event that an issue becomes one-sided, it is a result of the actions of members of this board who choose to be silent and non-responsive. How are we expected to acknowledge differing opinions when said opinions are not expressed? This is certainly not the way we are taught to have constructive conversations in our classrooms, and I presume that this is not the example that this board wants to model to its students. Members of this board are able to make time to meet with parents and other constituents of the community. However, you make no time to meet with the students whom you serve. It was suggested to us by a member of this board that we request individual conversations with members of this board about changing the name of Wheeler High School. How are we expected to facilitate these meetings if no one responds? Then it was suggested by a member of this board that we gather concrete data so that a more in-depth understanding of our cause could be conveyed to those board members who have remained unresponsive. We spent our time visiting archives and doing the research that this board was not willing to do. despite it being suggested and insinuated as the right path to continue this issue on. Again, no one responded to our request to have the opportunity to present, not even the one who told us to do it. I understand that some in the community and members of this board simply want a clearer picture, and a great way to gather that understanding and show that you care about the concerns of your students would be to meet with us and to hear what we have to say. But we can't observe what is not given. Thank you.
Time.
My name is Sanaj Sanders. I'm a sophomore attending Wheeler High. Our student body consists of many backgrounds, cultures, and creeds who all come together in one building to educate ourselves in better society as a new generation. The friends I've made are so vastly different from me. It truly is an opportunity for growth, and I'm grateful to have that chance. While I haven't been at Wheeler long, I know my school stands for an environment of acceptance and inclusion. Yet the very name of our unifying institution is a symbolism of bigotry. But I actually don't find this to be the worst part. What truly puts the icing on the cake is the complete lack of urgency from this board to this ethical issue. Information on this has been available to the board via the many direct emails we have sent regarding this problem. However, they have all been ignored. Our student body's very legitimate grievances have been disregarded and put on the back burner for months. It is imperative in a world where we as a society are unlearning the old ways that every measure is taken to be leaders of progression towards the future, because doing nothing at all is the same as being against. I am asking the board to take immediate action for a name change for Wheeler. I am asking for actual dialogue and meaningful feedback that can be addressed. I'd like to remind everyone this issue was brought up in front of the board in August.
30 seconds.
Too much time has already passed for this to still be going on, and nothing from our authority has brought forward a solution. Every single day of complacency and apathetic attitudes is another day we are on the wrong side of history. Thank you, gentlemen and lady of the board.